Mia, your turn.
Yeah.
Truth or dare?
There.
Kiss the hottest guy in the pub.
Oh.
Come on.
Yeah.
What am I doing? My heart rate is over 120, my self-control is at 0, and my brain is on autopilot. Only my instincts are in control, enthusiastically pulling me towards a stranger.
What'll it be?
I need to ask you something. He's so hot.
She won't do that.
They say that kissing lowers cortisol, and I need to calm down.
Who says you will come down after I kiss you?
Hey, baby.
Hey,
I'm Amanda, his girlfriend. And you? Another groupie drooling over my boyfriend.
This is it. The painful feeling of humiliation. My stomach is clenched, my palms are sweating, and my legs are ready to run away.
Bye.
Mia, how about coffee?
Can't. I have to give Mr. Jones an enema. I need a real practice, not this.
Well, if you want to feel like a real doctor, not just an intern on errands, there's one place to get real practice.
And what is this place?
Yeah! Fighting without rules, man! No need to thank me. So, our job is simple. Give the fighters first aid, but only when the announcer calls us, understood?
So now, the main fight. You've all been waiting for this, okay? In the left corner of this arena is the undefeated champion, the invincible Troy!
I can't accept the loss, I'm hard-headed. There's a little bit of madness to my method. Many falling off that fine line that I'm treading. I risk anything to be great, and I'm not letting nobody.
Is that the bartender from the pub?
Oh my god. It's him. Troy. I feel adrenaline and dopamine filling my veins. My heart is racing. My pupils are dilated. Classic symptoms of an acute stress reaction with elements of sexual arousal.
All right. And in the left corner of this arena is his opponent with fists of fire, the aggressive Pitbull Logan!
I'll bet you $20 that Pitbull will turn him into a bloody steak.
Ready, boys? Let's go!
Come on, Logan! Yeah, they didn't call us.
One, two,
Get up.
3,
Please get up.
4, 5!
Your life after the fight? Yeah.
It's a shame I can't post this anywhere.
Get next to the ring.
His pulse is weak. Maybe breathing. Steve, check his pupils.
Pupils are dilated. They aren't responding to light.
Shit, possible head injury. Give me the cervical collar.
Police! They are coming! Hurry up and leave!
Mia,
What are you doing, Steve?
we have to get out of here.
Give me a fucking cervical collar.
This is illegal fighting, Mia. We'll get arrested and our careers will be over.
Steve, I'm not leaving him like that.
I'm sorry.
Dawn?
Let me help.
Collide. They met as adults, without knowing who they truly were to each other. One was a struggling financial analyst with nothing to lose. The other was a corporate prince being groomed to inherit an empire. Their first interaction was hostile, competitive, personal. Neither realized they were looking at the mirror of a life stolen. As time passed, Noah began uncovering inconsistencies in the Hale Corporation's past. Financial trails that didn't make sense. Old accounts that led nowhere. Sealed legal documents that should never have existed. Someone had buried something, and Noah had always been good at digging. What he uncovered shattered him. A birth certificate with altered dates. A sealed adoption file. A hospital record paid to disappear. The truth was simple and devastating. Noah Reed was Victor Hale's biological son. And Julian Hale was not. The realization didn't bring satisfaction. It brought rage. Not because Noah wanted Victor's wealth, but because his entire life had been stolen to protect a lie. Victor Hale had built an empire on betrayal. And Noah had paid the price. When Noah confronted Victor, there was no apology. Only justification. You were a risk, Victor said calmly. And risks must be eliminated. That sentence changed everything. Noah didn't expose Victor immediately. He waited. He learned. He positioned himself inside the system that had rejected him. Over months, Noah dismantled the Hale empire quietly. Contracts failed, partners withdrew. Regulators appeared. Victor watched his world collapse piece by piece, never realizing the architect of his destruction was the son he had erased. Julian learned the truth last. And it broke him, because while Noah lost a family he never had, Julian lost a life he believed was real. In the final moments, Victor Hale stood alone. His power gone. His name ruined. His legacy destroyed. He asked Noah one final question. What do you want? Noah's answer was simple. Nothing from you. Because revenge isn't about taking what was stolen.
Morning, Daniel follows the same routine. He wakes before sunrise. He checks the perimeter. He counts his supplies. Canned food, bottled water, a handgun with limited ammunition. He keeps track of everything because forgetting is dangerous. In this world, mistakes are fatal. The collapse wasn't caused by war, or climate, or even disease. It was caused by silence. One day, systems stopped responding. Power grids failed. Financial networks froze. Supply chains broke down with no explanation. Governments issued statements then stopped speaking altogether. No enemy ever appeared, and that terrified people more than any invasion could have. At first, neighbors helped each other. They shared food. They shared information. Then supplies ran low. That was when kindness became conditional. Daniel remembers the exact moment he stopped trusting people. It was the day he watched a man beg for water and then pull a knife the moment Daniel turned his back. From that day on, Daniel survived by one rule: never assume innocence. Months pass, seasons change, the world grows quieter. One afternoon, Daniel hears
schools, elite connections, unlimited resources. But Julian carried a secret he couldn't explain. No matter how high he climbed, something always felt missing. Like his life didn't quite belong to him. Fate has a cruel sense of humor. Because it was Noah and Julian who would eventually collide. They met as adults, without knowing who they truly were to each other. One was a struggling financial analyst with nothing to lose. The other was a corporate prince being groomed to inherit an empire. Their first interaction was hostile, competitive, personal. Neither realized they were looking at the mirror of a life stolen. As time passed, Noah began uncovering inconsistencies in the Hale Corporation's past. Financial trails that didn't make sense. Old accounts that led nowhere. Sealed legal documents that should never have existed. Someone had buried something, and Noah had always been good at digging. What he uncovered shattered him. A birth certificate with altered dates. A sealed adoption file. A hospital record paid to disappear. The truth was simple and devastating. Noah Reed was Victor Hale's biological son. And Julian Hale was not. The realization didn't bring satisfaction. It brought rage. Not because Noah wanted Victor's wealth, but because his entire life had been stolen to protect a lie. Victor Hale had built an empire on betrayal. And Noah had paid the price. When Noah confronted Victor, there was no apology. Only justification. You were a risk, Victor said calmly. And risks must be eliminated. That sentence changed everything. Noah didn't expose Victor immediately. He waited. He learned. He positioned himself inside the system that had rejected him. Over months, Noah dismantled the Hale empire quietly. Contracts failed, partners withdrew. Regulators appeared. Victor watched his world collapse piece by piece, never realizing the architect of his destruction was the son he had erased. Julian learned the truth last. And it broke him, because while Noah lost a family he never had, Julian lost a life he believed was real. In the final moments, Victor Hale stood alone. His power gone. His name ruined. His legacy destroyed. He asked Noah one final question. What do you want? Noah's answer was simple. Nothing from you. Because revenge isn't about taking what was stolen. It's about proving you never needed it to survive. Noah walked away from the ruins of the Hale Empire without claiming a single dollar. Julian walked away too, choosing to rebuild a life that finally belonged to him. And Victor Hale. He was left with the one thing he had feared most. Irrelevance. Because in the end, power does not come from control. It comes from truth, and the truth always demands its price. Most people believe that their lives are shaped by the choices they make. They're wrong. Most lives are shaped by decisions made long before they were born. Decisions whispered in private rooms. Decisions signed with ink instead of blood. Decisions that turn children into consequences. This is one of those stories. It begins not with a birth, but with a deal. On a winter night, beneath the fluorescent lights of a private hospital, two newborns cried at the same time. One was born into wealth. The other was born into nothing. Only one of them was meant to survive. The man who stood outside the delivery room wore a tailored suit and a cold expression. His name was Victor Hale, one of the most powerful businessmen in the city. To the world, he was respected, untouchable, a man who controlled industries with a single phone call. But that night, Victor was afraid. Mara gives him a choice the system never allowed. End the loop, and let the catastrophe happen. Or disappear, so the world can continue. At 8:41 a.m., Ethan stands at the center of the city. For the first time, time does not feel heavy. It feels clear. He makes his choice. When Ethan opens his eyes again, it isn't 6:17 a.m. Time moves forward. And somewhere in the world, people live normal lives, never knowing the man who died infinite times, so they could have a future. The loop is gone. But the echo remains. Because even when time forgets, sacrifice never truly disappears.
The world did not end in fire. There were no explosions, no dramatic speeches, no final warning reported on the news. The world ended quietly. It ended with empty shelves, with unanswered phone calls, with doors that stopped opening. By the time people realized something was truly wrong, society had already collapsed. This story begins 6 months after that collapse. His name is Daniel Mercer. Before the fall, Daniel was ordinary in every way that mattered. He worked a desk job. He complained about traffic. He believed that tomorrow would always arrive as scheduled. Now, tomorrow is never guaranteed. Daniel lives alone in what used to be a suburban neighborhood. Houses stand like skeletons intact on the outside, hollow within. Some were abandoned peacefully. Others still carry marks of violence on their walls every morning.
Most people believe that their lives are shaped by the choices they make. They're wrong. Most lives are shaped by decisions made long before they were born. Decisions whispered in private rooms. Decisions signed with ink instead of blood. Decisions that turn children into consequences. This is one of those stories. It begins not with a birth, but with a deal. On a winter night, beneath the fluorescent lights of a private hospital, two newborns cried at the same time. One was born into wealth. The other was born into nothing. Only one of them was meant to survive. The man who stood outside the delivery room wore a tailored suit and a cold expression. His name was Victor Hale, one of the most powerful businessmen in the city. To the world, he was respected, untouchable, a man who controlled industries with a single phone call. But that night, Victor was afraid, because the child born inside that room wasn't supposed to exist. The baby was proof of an affair. Proof of weakness. Proof that Victor Hale had failed to control his own blood. And so he made a choice. Money exchanged hands. Names were switched. Records were rewritten. One child went home with a future guaranteed. The other was erased before he even had a name. That erased child grew up as Noah Reed. Noah didn't have a powerful family. He didn't have protection. He didn't even have answers. What he had was survival. He learned early that the world was unfair. That effort didn't always equal reward. That some people were born standing on mountains, while others spent their lives climbing walls with bleeding hands. Noah worked harder than anyone around him. He stayed invisible. He stayed quiet. And he stayed alive. Years later, in another part of the city, Victor Hale's son, Julian Hale, lived a life designed for greatness. Private
sound he hasn't heard in weeks. Footsteps, careful, measured, not desperate. Someone knows what they're doing. Daniel hides inside his house, watching through a cracked window. A woman enters the street, carrying a backpack and a rifle slung across her shoulder. She moves like someone who has survived longer than most. Her name is Mara. They don't trust each other. Trust is expensive now. Their first conversation is short. Their weapons remain visible, their distance carefully measured. But survival favors cooperation. Mara knows things Daniel doesn't. She's traveled beyond the neighborhood, seen cities reduced to graves. She tells him the truth no one wants to hear. The collapse isn't temporary. No help is coming. The world people remember is gone. Together, they form an uneasy alliance. Days turn into weeks. They scavenge abandoned buildings. They avoid roads. They watch the horizon constantly. And slowly, something dangerous happens. They begin to feel human again. They talk at night. They share memories of a world that feels fictional now. They laugh quietly, as if afraid laughter might attract there. But hope is a liability. One night, they encounter a group of survivors. Families, children, people who look harmless. The leader asks for food. Daniel hesitates. Mara doesn't. She says no. When the group leaves, Daniel argues with her. They needed help. Mara looks at him and says something that changes everything. So did we? No.
Empires are not built by heroes. They are built by men willing to make decisions others cannot live with. This story begins at the moment an empire starts to rot from the inside. The kingdom of Eldoria had ruled the continent for over 3 centuries. Its banners flew over cities, ports, and trade routes that fed the wealth of the entire realm to the common people. Eldoria represented order, stability, a promise that tomorrow would resemble today. But stability is fragile. And power, when inherited too long, forgets its purpose. King Alaric IV was dying. The illness did not announce itself dramatically. It weakened him slowly, stealing breath, strength, and clarity piece by piece. By the time the court acknowledged the truth, the question was no longer if the king would die but who would rule after him. Officially, the answer was simple: Prince Edric, the king's eldest legitimate son. Educated, polite, entirely unprepared, Edric had been raised in safety, shielded from bloodshed, taught diplomacy without consequence. He believed that words could still solve problems that had long since grown beyond language. The nobles smiled when he spoke, and sharpened their knives when he turned away. Unspoken among the court was another name: Kaelan, the king's bastard son, born to a woman erased from history. Raised far from the palace, trained not in books, but in war, Kaelan had bled for Eldoria in border conflicts where the crown refused to look. He had no claim, no title, and the loyalty of men who would gladly die for him. Kaelan returned to the capital when the king's condition worsened. His arrival unsettled the court. Soldiers straightened their posture. Servants whispered. Nobles avoided his gaze. Because Kaelan did not beg for acceptance. He did not ask for permission to exist. King Alaric summoned both sons to his chambers. What was said inside those walls was never recorded. But when Kaelan emerged, his face was heavier. And when Edric followed, his hands were shaking. The king died 3 days later. The coronation was swift to swift. Edric was crowned beneath banners still smelling of funeral incense. He spoke of peace, of unity, of honouring his father's legacy. The crowd cheered, the council plotted. Within weeks, the cracks began to show. Border lords withheld taxes, trade guilds demanded privileges. Mercenary companies offered loyalty for a price. Edric tried to negotiate. The empire bled. Meanwhile, Kaelan vanished. Officially, he was sent away for his own safety. In truth, he was gathering something more dangerous than an army. He was gathering belief among soldiers abandoned by the crown, among villagers burned by neglect, among men who remembered that Eldoria was once protected by strength, not promises. Civil war did not begin with a declaration. It began with silence. Supply lines failed. Garrisons switched banners overnight. Royal messengers stopped returning. Edric's advisors urged action. He hesitated. Because every order meant blood, and Edric had never learned how to live with blood on his hands. Kaelan, however, had, when Kaelan finally marched. He did so not as a conqueror but as a correction. He did not sack cities, he did not slaughter civilians. He removed governors permanently. Each execution carried a message: loyalty is earned, neglect is punished. The people did not fear him, they followed him. Inside the capital, no question. What happens if I collapse? Silence. Then the answer. Then the truth returns to those who created you. Lucas understands now he was never meant to survive. He was meant to carry the burden forever, so he makes a choice. In the final session, Lucas stops resisting. He embraces every memory, every scream, every order given. Every life lost, the room begins to fracture. The mirror shatters, and when the system fails, Lucas feels something new. Peace, not because the pain is gone, but because it no longer belongs to him alone. When the facility goes dark, alarms echo through empty halls elsewhere. People wake up screaming from dreams they don't understand. Memories return, guilt returns. Lucas Hale disappears, but the truth does not. Because memories, no matter how deeply buried, always find their way home.
Cities don't sleep, they pretend to, but they never really do. At 3 in the morning, when the streets are empty and the neon signs flicker like dying stars, the city tells the truth about who survives, about who disappears, about who never mattered in the first place. This story belongs to one of those people. His name is Marcus Lane. Marcus is not a criminal by ambition. He is a criminal by erosion. Piece by piece, the city wore him down. Marcus grew up in the kind of neighborhood people only remember when something goes wrong. His father worked himself into an early grave. His mother learned how to survive by staying quiet. The city taught Marcus its first lesson early. Effort does not guarantee escape. Marcus was smart, not brilliant, not exceptional. Just smart enough to notice patterns, to see how things actually worked. He watched men who followed the rules struggle. He watched men who broke them thrive. By the time Marcus was 25, the decision had already been made for him. He started small, running packages, delivering envelopes, asking no questions. In the underground economy, silence is currency. Marcus was good at being silent. The city rewarded him with money that disappeared as quickly as it came: rent, medical bills, debts inherited from a family that never caught a break. Marcus told himself it was temporary. Everyone does. That's the lie that keeps the machine running. Years passed, Marcus became reliable. Reliable people are dangerous not because they're violent, but because systems depend on them. And systems don't protect their foundations, they consume them. Marcus worked for a man named Victor Rains. Victor didn't look like a crime boss, he looked like a consultant. Calm voice, clean hands, always polite. Victor controlled networks, not streets, information, not guns. And information is far more lethal. One night, Victor gave Marcus a job that felt different. No delivery, no exchange, just observation. Follow him, Victor said, sliding a photo across the table. Tell me where he goes, who he meets, that's all. The man in the photo was ordinary, mid-30s, office clothes. Forgettable face, Marcus followed him for 3 days. On the 4th day, the man noticed. That's when everything changed. The man confronted Marcus in a subway station, crowded, loud, impossible to disappear in. You shouldn't be here, the man said quietly. Marcus froze because the man wasn't afraid. He was resigned. The man's name was Ethan Cole. Ethan wasn't a criminal, he was an accountant. Or at least, that's what his records said. What Marcus uncovered slowly was something far worse. Ethan was laundering money not for gangs, but for institutions people trusted, corporations, charities, political foundations. Legal crime, the kind that destroys lives without ever pulling a trigger. Victor wanted Ethan gone, not dead, disappeared. Marcus understood what that meant. He was being asked to erase someone. Not physically, socially, reputationally, existentially. Marcus hesitated, and hesitation is expensive. Victor reminded him of something Marcus had forgotten. You don't choose when you're done, Victor said. The city does, Marcus did the job. Bank accounts frozen, false accusations planted. Careers destroyed overnight. Ethan lost everything in less than a week. Marcus watched it happen, and something broke inside him. Because Ethan didn't fight, he accepted it. Like someone who had always known the bill would come due. Weeks later, Marcus found out why. Ethan had tried to expose the system, he failed. Marcus wasn't eliminating a threat, he was burying a warning. Guilt doesn't arrive loudly, it settles in quietly. Marcus began seeing the city differently. Every building felt complicit, every advertisement felt like a lie. Every smile felt transactional. He wanted out, Victor laughed. There is no out, he said, only distance from the blast. Marcus tried to run anyway. That's when the city
stare at her like she doesn't belong. The walls whisper stories no one dares to tell. And at the center of it all sits Margaret Blackwell, the matriarch. Watching Elena with a gaze sharp enough to cut through bone, Margaret doesn't welcome her. She studies her like a problem that should have been erased long ago. You see, Elena isn't just a long-lost daughter. She's evidence. Evidence of an affair. Evidence of betrayal. Evidence that the Blackwood family is not as perfect as they claim. And so, Margaret makes a decision. Elena can stay, but only under one condition. She will never reveal her true identity to the world. Elena is introduced as nothing more than a distant relative. A charity case, a girl taken in out of kindness. But kindness has never existed in this house from the very first day. Elena becomes invisible. She eats after everyone else. She walks with her head down. She learns quickly which hallways to avoid, which words not to say, and which emotions to swallow. Except around Alexander. Alexander notices everything. He notices the way Elena flinches when voices are raised. The way she holds her breath when Margaret enters the room. The way she looks at family portraits like she's searching for herself among strangers. At first, Alexander keeps his distance, because getting close to Elena means getting close to the truth. And the truth is dangerous, but distance doesn't last. Late one night, Alexander finds Elena in the library, asleep at the desk, a stack of old documents scattered around her. She's been searching, digging, asking questions she shouldn't. That's when Alexander realizes something terrifying. Elena doesn't just want acceptance, she wants answers. And answers could destroy everything. As days turn into weeks, tension builds. Elena overhears conversations that weren't meant for her ears. She sees the cracks in the Blackwood Empire, shady deals, silent threats, alliances built on fear instead of loyalty. Meanwhile, Margaret grows increasingly hostile. Because Margaret knows something Elena doesn't. The Blackwood family didn't lose Elena by accident, she was erased on purpose. Years ago, when Elena's existence threatened the inheritance line, a decision was made. Money changed hands, records disappeared. A woman was paid to vanish with her child. But the child survived, and now
one helped us. Days later, they find that same group again. Only this time, the group is armed and they're not asking. Daniel witnesses what desperation truly looks like. The survivors kill without hesitation. They take everything. They leave bodies behind. Daniel and Mara escape, but something inside Daniel breaks. That night, he can't sleep because he realizes a terrifying truth. The apocalypse didn't turn people into monsters. It revealed who they already were. As resources disappear, morality follows. Daniel struggles with what survival requires. Mara accepts it. She's not cruel, she's realistic. She tells Daniel about a settlement rumored to exist far north. A place with rules, structure, power. But power always has a price. They reach the settlement weeks later. It's real. Walls, guards, organization. For the first time since the collapse, Daniel feels safe until he learns how the settlement survives. They trade protection for obedience. They exile the weak. They execute those who challenge authority. Order has replaced chaos, but at the cost of compassion. Daniel is offered a choice: stay and become part of the system, or leave and return to uncertainty. Mara already knows her answer. She refuses to live in another cage. Daniel hesitates, because survival without humanity feels meaningless, and humanity without survival feels impossible. In the end, Daniel leaves with her. Not because he's brave, but because he's still afraid of becoming someone he can't recognize. They disappear back into the ruins. The world remains broken. civilization does not return. That Daniel understands something now. The end of the world wasn't a single moment. It was a process, and survival isn't about staying alive. It's about deciding who you are willing to become to do so. Because when everything else is gone, that choice is all that remains.
He simply tells her, "You will stay here. You will obey my rules, and you will never leave." But Lydia refuses to be a prisoner. She starts investigating, listening to guards whisper at night, sneaking into forbidden rooms, reading documents she was never meant to see, and what she discovers changes everything, because Lydia realizes something horrifying. Damien didn't marry the wrong bride. He married the right one. Lydia was the daughter of a secret bloodline, a lineage connected to an ancient fortune, a political prophecy, and a deadly secret her parents hid for decades. Damien needs Lydia alive, because she is the key to unlocking a legacy that hundreds of powerful families have killed for. But Lydia learns something more shocking. Her childhood fiancé, Ethan, the man she thought loved her, was actually part of the conspiracy to sacrifice her. He knew she was destined to die at 24. He pretended to love her only to keep her compliant. Damien didn't kidnap her. He saved her, but salvation comes with a price. Lydia now belongs to the most dangerous man alive, and Damien has no intention of letting her go. Not after he discovers something even he didn't expect. He is falling in love with her, and when the Ghost King falls in love, entire empires burn. Super long English drama narration number 2. The woman who found a baby on her doorstep and realized it was hers. This story begins on a quiet winter morning. Snow blankets the street. The world seems peaceful until a single cry breaks the silence. A woman named Claire Rivers, a hard-working emergency nurse, opens her apartment door and finds a baby basket sitting in the hallway. Inside it, a newborn girl wrapped in a blanket embroidered with Claire's own initials. At first, Claire thinks it must be a mistake, a prank, some kind of tragic abandonment. But then she sees the note, a single line written in trembling handwriting. "Please protect our daughter." They cannot know she survived. Claire freezes. The handwriting looks disturbingly familiar, because it looks like her own. Impossible, insane. But the more Claire examines it, the more certain she becomes. She wrote this note, or someone who knew her handwriting
whispers into her ear. "If you don't marry me, the Hale family will not live through tonight." Terror grips her heart. Shaking, Lydia barely forces the words out. "I do." The moment the ceremony ends, Damien kisses her lightly, almost mockingly. "Congratulations, Mrs. Blackthorn." Lydia is taken to a black limousine and driven to Damien's fortress-like estate. But here's the twisted part. Damien doesn't touch her, doesn't speak to her. He simply tells her, "You will stay here, you will obey my rules, and you will never leave." But Lydia refuses to be a prisoner. She starts investigating, listening to guards whisper at night, sneaking into forbidden rooms, reading documents she was never meant to see, and what she discovers changes everything, because Lydia realizes something horrifying. Damien didn't marry the wrong bride. He married the right one. Lydia was the daughter of a secret bloodline, a lineage connected to an ancient fortune, a political prophecy, and a deadly secret her parents hid for decades. Damien needs Lydia alive because she is the key to unlocking a legacy that hundreds of powerful families have killed for. But Lydia learns something more shocking. Her childhood fiancé, Ethan, the man she thought loved her, was actually part of the conspiracy to sacrifice her. He knew she was destined to die at 24. He pretended to love her only to keep her compliant. Damien didn't kidnap her. He saved her. But salvation comes with a price. Lydia now belongs to the most dangerous man alive, and Damien has no intention of letting her go, not after he discovers something even he didn't expect. He is falling in love with her, and when the Ghost King falls in love, entire empires burn. Super long English drama narration #2. The woman who found a baby on her doorstep and realized it was hers. This story begins on a quiet winter morning. Snow blankets the street. The world seems peaceful until a single cry breaks the silence. A woman named Claire Rivers, a hard-working emergency nurse, opens her apartment door and finds a baby basket sitting in the hallway. Inside it, a newborn girl wrapped in a blanket embroidered with Claire's own initials ... At first, Claire thinks it must be a mistake, a prank, some kind of tragic abandonment. But then she sees a note, a single line written in trembling handwriting. Please protect our daughter. They cannot know she survived. Claire freezes. The handwriting looks disturbingly familiar because it looks like her own. Impossible, insane, but the more Claire examines it, the more certain she becomes. She wrote this note, or someone who knew her handwriting perfectly. But Claire has never been pregnant, never given birth, never even been in a long-term relationship ... So how could this baby be hers? As Claire holds a baby, a wave of foreign memories hits her. Images she doesn't recognize, faces she's never seen, hospital rooms she's never entered. Every night, the memories grow stronger. A surgery she didn't remember, a man she never met, a hospital bed where she was unconscious. Claire begins digging into her past and uncovers a horrifying truth. 3 years ago, she was involved in a major accident. She was unconscious for 2 days. Doctors claimed she suffered only mild injuries, but that wasn't true. During those missing 2 days, Claire was used as a surrogate test subject for a fertility experiment led by a secret organization seeking to create genetically perfect children. Claire was selected for her medical resilience. They implanted a fertilized embryo into her body, monitored the early pregnancy, then removed the fetus covertly before she woke. Claire was never meant to know, never meant to remember, but the baby was supposed to be destroyed. Someone inside the organization betrayed them and saved the infant, placing the child on Claire's doorstep as a last chance for survival. Now, a powerful corporation is hunting for the baby. They will eliminate anyone who stands in their way. Claire must run, hide, fight. She becomes a fugitive, protecting a child she never planned for, yet feels an unexplainable bond with. The twist: the baby begins showing abilities far beyond a normal infant. Rapid learning, unusual awareness, and neurological patterns never documented before. Claire realizes the company wasn't trying to create the perfect baby. They were trying to create the perfect weapon. And now, they will do anything to reclaim it. Super long English drama narration #3. The princess who escaped her own funeral. This is the story of a princess who attended her own funeral. Her name is Serafini Aldora, the firstborn heir to the Aldora kingdom. Known for her intelligence, beauty, and unmatched talent with diplomacy, but political enemies feared her. They needed her gone. The night before her coronation, Serafini is poisoned by her most trusted advisor. Her pulse stops. Her body grows cold. Doctors declare her death. The nation mourns. Her father falls to his knees. A grand royal funeral is prepared. Thousands gather to see the princess one last time. But here's a twist. Serafini wakes up inside her coffin, paralyzed, unable to scream, yet fully conscious. A rare toxin was used, one that mimics death flawlessly but wears off within 24 hours. Serafini fights with every ounce of strength. The sarcophagus cracks open. She crawls out, gasping for air, covered in funeral flowers. Her first thought isn't fear, it's vengeance. But she can't return to the palace, because everyone has already accepted her death. The kingdom has moved on. Her younger sister is taking the throne. Her advisor, the traitor, is now controlling the royal council. Serafini realizes she must stay dead. She disguises herself and goes into hiding, forming alliances with assassins, spies, and rebels. Slowly, she uncovers the conspiracy. Foreign nations, corrupted nobles, and even her own sister, who secretly wanted the crown. The deeper Serafini digs, the darker the truth becomes. The assassination wasn't just about power. It was part of a prophecy that foretold the eldest daughter of Aldora shall bring ruin to the realm. The kingdom didn't want to kill her out of hate. They killed her out of fear. But Serafini isn't the monster the prophecy claimed. The true monster is the person who forged the prophecy in the first place, and she plans to reclaim everything stolen from her, her crown, her kingdom, and her fate. But first, the dead princess must return from the shadows.
It begins on a rain-soaked highway. A lone woman, in a torn evening gown, stumbling barefoot through the dark. No ID, no phone, no memory of who she is. But within the next hour, the world will learn her name, because this woman is none other than Evelyn Ardent, the missing heiress of $1 trillion empire, presumed dead for 10 long years. The story opens with a small-town sheriff answering a call about a confused stranger wandering near the county border. When he arrives, the woman only whispers one sentence, "Don't let him find me." She's trembling, terrified, staring into the trees as though someone or something is hunting her. At the hospital, doctors discover something even stranger. Evelyn shows signs of repeated injections, controlled sedation, and restraints that have been removed only hours ago. She wasn't wandering, she escaped. News outlets explode. Paparazzi swarm the hospital. The Ardent family, owners of the world's largest biotech conglomerate, immediately sends a private security convoy to retrieve her, but Evelyn refuses to leave. She says her family isn't trying to rescue her, they're trying to silence her. Piece by piece, she starts recalling fragments of the lost decade, a secret research facility, a genetic experiment gone wrong, and a man who called himself Director Hale. She remembers steel doors, sleepless nights, needles, and whispering voices behind glass walls. Reluctantly, the government brings him to an underground briefing room. Surrounded by agents, Wolf calmly explains that the Phantom Circuit has infiltrated every layer of society. politicians, CEOs, military analysts, even the justice system that put him away. Their goal is simple: collapse the nation from within and rebuild it under their own secret charter. But here's the twist. Wolf says he didn't predict the attacks, he designed them years ago. His research focused on mapping collective human behavior, identifying how crowds, governments, and entire populations react to fear. The Phantom Circuit stole his work and weaponized it. Now he is the only one who knows how to stop the chain reaction he created. The agents interrogate him, demanding names, locations, proof. Wolf only smiles. "Let me out," he says, "and I'll catch the monster you're chasing. Because I built him." But before they can decide whether to trust him, all the lights in the facility go out. Emergency lock slideshot. A distorted voice echoes through the speakers. Adrian Wolf is not to be released. Terminate the asset immediately. The government realizes something horrifying. The Phantom Circuit knew their every move. Someone in the room is a traitor, and Wolf may be the only one who can tell them who it is. On the night of her wedding, under the glow of fireworks and champagne, the bride suddenly vanished, not kidnapped, not murdered. She walked out of her own celebration and left behind a blood-stained wedding dress. Her name was Leela Harrington, the youngest daughter of a distinguished diplomatic family. Her marriage was supposed to unite two powerful alliances and end years of political tension. But minutes before the ceremony, Leela received an anonymous message containing 3 words that change everything: he killed them. The message came with a photo, grainy, dark, showing her fiancé standing over 2 bodies. Leela didn't understand it at first, until she recognized something in the picture. The necklace belonging to her missing childhood friend, Iris. While guests laughed and danced, Leela went to confront her fiancé in his private suite. What happened next remains a mystery. Security cameras caught silence, no screams, no struggle. Just Leela walking out alone, carrying her shoes, trembling as if she had seen the devil himself. She was last spotted leaving through the garden gate. Hours later, her wedding dress torn and soaked in blood was found at the edge of a river. But there was no body, no footprints, no signs of drowning. Investigators soon discovered something more disturbing. Leela had been collecting files for months, documents exposing a covert diplomatic operation, blackmail letters, untraceable bank transfers, and a hidden list of high-ranking officials involved in an off-books political assassination program. The final page of her journal reads, "If I disappear, it's because I finally know the truth." The groom denies everything. The families cover up the scandal. The world moves on. But days later, a message appears on a secure server belonging to an international whistleblower group. A video thumbnail, a familiar face, Leela Harrington alive. And she's ready to expose the truth about the man she almost married. In the heart of a neon-lit metropolis, people still talk about the night a billionaire vanished into the slums and left his entire empire to a homeless stranger. It wasn't charity, it wasn't madness, it was revenge calculated, cold. And 10 years in the making. The billionaire was Marcus Vail, founder of one of the world's most powerful tech corporations. Brilliant, ruthless, untouchable, but few knew that behind the skyscrapers and luxury, Marcus lived with a secret. He was running from a crime he didn't commit. 10 years ago, someone framed him for an illegal weapons program. The board forced him out, stripped his legacy, and left him with nothing. Marcus clawed his way back, rebuilt his fortune, and created a shadow network devoted to finding the traitor. But instead of confronting them in a boardroom, Marcus designed a different plan. He befriended a homeless man living under a bridge, a quiet, intelligent veteran named Sam who once studied engineering before life tore him apart. Marcus gave Sam food, shelter, friendship. And then, one night, Marcus offered him the unthinkable. "Take my identity, take my company. Become me." Sam thought it was a joke until men in suits arrived with documents, transfers, and biometric scans proving it was real. Overnight, the bidder became the new owner of Vail Technologies. Overnight, Marcus Vail no longer existed because Marcus had discovered something. The traitor who destroyed his life was someone inside his own family. Someone who watched his downfall with a smile. By erasing himself and handing over his empire, Marcus created the perfect trap. The traitor would strike again, assuming Sam was Marcus. And when they exposed themselves, Marcus would emerge from the shadows with evidence, truth, and vengeance. But the plan took a deadly turn. Sam was attacked within 48 hours. Marcus's old enemies resurfaced. And a mysterious organization called the Seventh Protocol began hunting both men. The world now thinks Marcus Vale is dead, but in the underbelly of the city, he's watching every move, waiting to reclaim the life stolen from him.
And a dull ache behind his eyes. Between sessions, Lucas notices something strange. Some memories feel planted ... to clean, to complete. Real memories are messy, inconsistent, emotional. These are not. During session 4, Lucas asks a question. What happens if I don't want to remember? The voice pauses. That will not be necessary. That answer stays with him. As the sessions continue, the memories grow darker. A car accident, flashing lights, someone screaming his name. Lucas feels guilt but cannot identify why. In session 7, he sees blood on his hands. In session 8, he sees the woman again. Her name is Evelyn. She is smiling at first. Then she is crying. Then she is not moving. Lucas wakes from the session screaming. For the first time, the voice sounds uneasy. You are progressing faster than expected, it says. That night, or what he assumes is night, Lucas studies the mirror and notices something impossible. His reflection is delayed, only slightly, but enough. In session 10, Lucas lies. He says he remembers everything. The voice responds instantly, that is incorrect. And the room changes. The walls darken. The temperature drops. The voice stops pretending. Lucas Hale does not exist, it says. That is when the truth begins to surface. Lucas was not a patient, he was a construct, a personality assembled from fragmented memories belonging to multiple individuals. A psychological container designed to hold guilt, trauma, and responsibility that no single mind could bear. There was an incident, a classified incident, one that resulted in dozens of deaths. The people responsible could not live with what they had done. So they split the memory ... and buried it inside Lucas. Lucas was created to forget so others could sleep. Every session was not recovery. It was containment. Lucas reacts the only way a trapped mind can. He resists. Memories collide. Identities bleed into one another. Faces overlap. Names lose meaning. The system destabilizes. The voice becomes desperate. If you continue, the construct will collapse. Lucas asks one final
because the child born inside that room wasn't supposed to exist. The baby was proof of an affair. Proof of weakness. Proof that Victor Hale had failed to control his own blood. And so he made a choice. Money exchanged hands. Names were switched. Records were rewritten. One child went home with a future guaranteed. The other was erased before he even had a name. That erased child grew up as Noah Reed. Noah didn't have a powerful family. He didn't have protection. He didn't even have answers. What he had was survival. He learned early that the world was unfair. That effort didn't always equal reward. That some people were born standing on mountains, while others spent their lives climbing walls with bleeding hands. Noah worked harder than anyone around him. He stayed invisible. He stayed quiet. And he stayed alive. Years later, in another part of the city, Victor Hale's son, Julian Hale, lived a life designed for greatness. Private schools, elite connections, unlimited resources. But Julian carried a secret he couldn't explain. No matter how high he climbed, something always felt missing. Like his life didn't quite belong to him. Fate has a cruel sense of humor. Because it was Noah and Julian who would eventually... It's about proving you never needed it to survive. Noah walked away from the ruins of the Hale Empire without claiming a single dollar. Julian walked away too, choosing to rebuild a life that finally belonged to him. And Victor Hale, he was left with the one thing he had feared most: irrelevance. Because in the end, power does not come from control. It comes from truth, and the truth always demands its price. Everyone believes time moves forward. Second by second, day by day, a straight line from birth to death. That belief is comforting. It's also wrong. Time does not move forward. It repeats. And this story exists inside one of those repetitions. His name is Ethan Cross. Ethan wakes up every morning at exactly 6:17 a.m. The same pale sunlight, through the same cracked blinds. The same hum of traffic outside his apartment. The same unfamiliar sense that something is about to go terribly wrong. At first, Ethan thinks he's just exhausted. Then the repetition begins. The same woman drops her coffee at the subway entrance. The same child cries on the platform. The same announcement echoes through the station speakers, slightly distorted, as if reality itself is struggling to remember its lines. And at 8:42 a.m. every single day, someone dies. The first time, it's a stranger. The second time, it's a coworker. The third time, it's Ethan himself. He doesn't remember dying. He only remembers waking up again at 6:17. That's when panic sets in. Ethan tries everything to break the pattern. He skips work. He stays home. He leaves the city. Nothing works. No matter what he does, the day resets, and every reset ends in death. Weeks pass. Or maybe years. Time becomes meaningless when it refuses to move. Ethan begins documenting everything. Every word spoken. Every event. Every deviation. He maps the day down to the second, searching for a flaw in the system. That's when he notices something impossible. The loop is changing. Small details shift. A conversation lasts longer. A face appears where it shouldn't. And then, one morning, Ethan meets her, a woman standing on the opposite subway platform, staring directly at him, as if she recognizes him. She mouths 2 words. "Find me." The next reset, she's gone. Ethan becomes obsessed. He alters his routine, chasing traces of her existence across timelines. And finally, he finds her in an abandoned research facility buried beneath the city. Her name is Dr. Mara Levin. She isn't surprised to see him. In fact, she's been waiting. Mara explains the truth slowly, because the truth is fragile. Years ago, humanity learned how to bend time. Not travel through it, but loop it. The technology was designed to prevent disasters. Reset the day. Fix the mistake. Save millions. But the loop had a flaw. Memory leakage. Some minds were resistant to resets. Ethan was one of them. Not by accident, but by design. Mara tells him something that shatters his identity. Ethan didn't fall into the loop. He volunteered for it. In the original timeline, a global catastrophe occurred at 8:42 a.m., a chain reaction that wiped out entire cities. The loop exists to stop it. And Ethan is the fail-safe. Every death he experiences resets the system. Every loop brings humanity one step closer to survival. The cost. Ethan's life. Over and over again. He was chosen because he agreed. Because he believed one life was worth saving millions. But something went wrong. Mara fell in love with him, and love was never part of the equation. As Ethan remembers fragments of his original self, the weight becomes unbearable. He wasn't trapped. He was sacrificed. The final loop approaches. The system is stabilizing. The disaster can be prevented permanently. But only if Ethan stays inside the loop forever.
Paranoia took hold. Allies betrayed allies, councils fractured. Edric trusted fewer people each day. When Kaelin's forces reached the gates, the city did not resist. The final confrontation took place in the throne room. 2 brothers, 1 crown, Edric pleaded, Kaelin listened. And then he spoke the truth Edric had never wanted to hear. You were raised to rule a kingdom that no longer exists. Edric offered the crown, Kaelin refused. Because Kaelin did not want power given. He wanted power recognized, Edric was exiled, not killed. Because mercy, too, is a form of control, Kaelin was crowned King Kaelin I. His reign was not gentle, but it was effective. Borders stabilized, rebellions ended. The empire survived. History would remember him as a tyrant or a savior depending on who was asked. But one truth remained undeniable, Eldoria did not fall, because one man was willing to become what the empire required. And that is how kingdoms endure, not through virtue, but through sacrifice that history prefers not to name. Memory is the most fragile form of truth. People trust it completely, even though it changes every time they touch it. This story is about a man who trusted his memory and paid the price for it. His name is Lucas Hale, at least. That's the name he remembers. Lucas wakes up in a white room with no windows, no clock, and no sound except his own breathing. The walls are clean, like they've never been lived in. There is a chair, a table, and a mirror. On the table lies a folder. On the front, written in black ink, are 3 words. Session 1, Recovery. Lucas does not remember how he got here. He does remember other things. He remembers growing up near the ocean. He remembers the smell of salt and rust. He remembers a woman's laugh, soft, familiar, painful. But when he tries to hold on to these memories, they slip, like dreams dissolving after waking. The mirror activates. A voice fills the room. Calm, professional, emotionless. Lucas Hale, the voice says. If you are hearing this, the procedure has begun. The voice explains that Lucas volunteered for an experimental treatment designed to repair severe psychological trauma. Memory fragmentation, dissociation, identity confusion. Lucas doesn't remember agreeing to anything, but the file says he did. According to the records, Lucas experienced a catastrophic event 6 months ago. Something so severe that his mind fractured to protect itself. The treatment is simple. They will help him remember session by session, memory by memory. At first, the memories seem harmless. A childhood bicycle, a high school classroom. A rainy afternoon spent waiting for someone who never arrived. Each session ends with exhaustion and
closed in. Friends stopped answering calls, accounts vanished. Doors that once opened easily stayed shut. The system Marcus helped sustain turned its attention to him in the end. Marcus made one final decision. If he couldn't escape the city, he would expose it. Marcus leaked everything. Names, transactions, networks. He didn't become a hero. Heroes are protected. Marcus became a liability. The fallout was controlled, scandals redirected, sacrifices made. Marcus disappeared, not officially, but effectively. The city continued, it always does, somewhere. People still believe hard work is enough, that systems are fair, that survival is neutral. The city doesn't correct those beliefs, it relies on them. And Marcus Lane. He became what the city creates best, a lesson no one learns from. Because in the end, the city doesn't punish crime, it punishes disruption.
At first glance, this looks like an ordinary love story, a quiet town, a powerful family, and a girl who seems far too insignificant to matter. But if you keep watching, you'll realize this story is never really about love. It's about control, identity, and what happens when the truth refuses to stay buried. This story begins on a rainy night. A young woman named Elena Carter stands outside the iron gates of the Blackwood estate, soaked to the bone, holding a worn-out suitcase in her trembling hands. She has nowhere else to go. Her mother is dead. Her father's name is written on a birth certificate, but he never once looked back. And now, after 23 years of silence, the Blackwood family has finally found her. Inside that mansion lives Alexander Blackwood, the youngest heir of the Blackwood Empire. Cold, calculating, and dangerously intelligent. To the outside world, he is perfection itself, a future CEO, a golden bow, a man who never makes mistakes. But Alexander hates this house, because this house is built on secrets. The moment Helena steps inside, the atmosphere shifts. The servants seize back. The closer Helena gets to the truth, the more dangerous her position becomes. Servants are fired overnight. Security tightens. Even Alexander is warned to stay away from her. But by then, it's already too late. Because somewhere between shared silences and stolen glances, Alexander falls in love with her. And that love becomes the final threat to the Blackwood legacy. When Elena finally uncovers the truth that she is not a guest, not a burden, but a rightful heir, everything explodes. Margaret denies it. The family panics. The board of directors intervenes. And Alexander is forced to choose family or Elena. In the final confrontation, secrets are exposed in front of the entire Blackwood board. DNA results are revealed. Financial crimes surface. Decades of lies collapse in a single night. Margaret loses control. The empire fractures. And the truth, once hidden, becomes impossible to erase. But victory doesn't come without a cost. Elena walks away from the Blackwood Main not because she has to, but because she finally understands something powerful. Blood doesn't define family, power doesn't define worth, and sometimes, survival is the greatest revenge. As for Alexander, he leaves with her, not as an heir, not as a black widow, but as a man finally free. And that is the real ending of this story, not a fairy tale, not a perfect romance, but a reminder. No matter how deeply the truth is buried, it always finds a way back to the surface.
The bride who married the wrong man. Pay close attention. On what should have been the happiest day of her life, this woman walked down the aisle and accidentally married a man she had never met. Her name is Lydia Hale, the eldest daughter of a wealthy political family. For 24 years, she lived under strict rules. Perfect grades, perfect manners, perfect reputation. Her engagement to her childhood sweetheart, Ethan Crowe, was arranged when they were children. Everyone expected their wedding to be the union of two powerful families. But on the wedding day, Lydia's life derails in the most unbelievable way. Moments before the ceremony, Lydia is kidnapped by masked men, thrown into a black SUV, and drugged with something that makes her head swim. When she wakes up, she's in a dimly lit church, a completely different location. Her bouquet replaced, her veil rearranged, her bridesmaids missing, and the groom isn't Ethan. Standing at the altar is a cold, devastatingly handsome man with gray eyes as sharp as winter steel. A man Lydia has never seen in her life. His name, Damian Blackthorne, the most feared underground king in the entire eastern region, leader of the Blackthorne Syndicate. A man whose reputation can silence even the bravest criminals. Everyone calls him the Ghost King because no one knows how he rose to power, and those who try to investigate disappear. Damien takes Lydia's trembling hand. The priest asks, "Do you take this woman?" Damien answers before the priest finishes, "I do." Lydia is stunned. She protests, screams, tries to run, but the guards hold her still. Damien leans close, voice dangerously calm. "Say the words, Lydia." I don't. He whispers into her ear. "If you don't marry me, the Hale family will not live through tonight." Terror grips her heart. Shaking, Lydia barely forces the words out. "I do." The moment the ceremony ends, Damien kisses her lightly, almost mockingly. "Congratulations, Mrs. Blackthorne." Lydia is taken to a black limousine and driven to Damien's fortress-like estate. But here's the twisted part. Damien doesn't touch her, doesn't speak to her. Hitting perfectly. But Claire has never been pregnant, never given birth, never even been in a long-term relationship. So how could this baby be hers? As Claire holds the baby, a wave of foreign memories hits her. Images she doesn't recognize, faces she's never seen, hospital rooms she's never entered. Every night, the memories grow stronger. A surgery she didn't remember, a man she never met, a hospital bed where she was unconscious. Claire begins digging into her past and uncovers a horrifying truth. 3 years ago, she was involved in a major accident. She was unconscious for 2 days. Doctors claimed she suffered only mild injuries. But that wasn't true. During those missing 2 days, Claire was used as a surrogate test subject for a fertility experiment led by a secret organization seeking to create genetically perfect children. Claire was selected for her medical resilience. They implanted a fertilized embryo into her body, monitored the early pregnancy, then removed the fetus covertly before she woke. Claire was never meant to know, never meant to remember. But the baby was supposed to be destroyed. Someone inside the organization betrayed them and saved the infant, placing the child on Claire's doorstep as the last chance for survival. Now a powerful corporation is hunting for the baby. They will eliminate anyone who stands in their way. Claire must run, hide, fight. She becomes a fugitive, protecting a child she never planned for, yet feels an unexplainable bond with. The twist. The baby begins showing abilities far beyond a normal infant. Rapid learning, unusual awareness, and neurological patterns never documented before. Claire realizes the company wasn't trying to create the perfect baby. They were trying to create the perfect weapon. And now, they will do anything to reclaim it. Super long English drama narration number 3. The princess who escaped her own funeral. This is the story of a princess who attended her own funeral. Her name is Serafini Aldera, the firstborn heir to the Aldera kingdom, known for her intelligence, beauty, and unmatched talent with diplomacy. But political enemies feared her. They needed her gone. The night before her coronation, Serafini is poisoned by her most trusted advisor. Her pulse stops. Her body grows cold. Doctors declare her death. The nation mourns. Her father falls to his knees. A grand royal funeral is prepared. Thousands gather to see the princess one last time. But here's the twist. Serafini wakes up inside her coffin, paralyzed, unable to scream, yet fully conscious. A rare toxin was used, one that mimics death flawlessly but wears off within 24 hours. Serafini fights with every ounce of strength. The sarcophagus cracks open. She crawls out, gasping for air, covered in funeral flowers. Her first thought isn't fear, it's vengeance. But she can't return to the palace because everyone has already accepted her death. The kingdom has moved on. Her younger sister is taking the throne. Her advisor, the traitor, is now controlling the royal council. Serafini realizes she must stay dead. She disguises herself and goes into hiding, forming alliances with assassins, spies, and rebels. Slowly, she uncovers the conspiracy. Foreign nations, corrupted nobles, and even her own sister, who secretly wanted the crown. The deeper Serafini digs, the darker the truth becomes. The assassination wasn't just about power. It was part of a prophecy that foretold. The eldest daughter of Aldera shall bring ruin to the realm. The kingdom didn't want to kill her out of hate. They killed her out of fear. But Serafini isn't the monster the prophecy claimed. The true monster is the person who forged the prophecy in the first place. And she plans to reclaim everything stolen from her. Her crown, her kingdom, and her fate. But first, the dead princess must return from the shadows.
The bride who married the wrong man. Pay close attention on what should have been the happiest day of her life. This woman walked down the aisle and accidentally married a man she had never met. Her name is Lydia Hale, the eldest daughter of a wealthy political family. For 24 years, she lived under strict rules, perfect grades, perfect manners, perfect reputation. Her engagement to her childhood sweetheart, Ethan Crow, was arranged when they were children. Everyone expected their wedding to be the union of two powerful families, but on the wedding day, Lydia's life derails in the most unbelievable way. Moments before the ceremony, Lydia is kidnapped by masked men, thrown into a black SUV, and drugged with something that makes her head swim. When she wakes up, she's in a dimly lit church, a completely different location, her bouquet replaced, her veil rearranged, her bridesmaids missing, and the groom isn't Ethan. Standing at the altar is a cold, devastatingly handsome man with gray eyes as sharp as winter steel, a man Lydia has never seen in her life. His name? Damien Blackthorn, the most feared underground king in the entire eastern region, leader of the Blackthorn Syndicate, a man whose reputation can silence even the bravest criminals. Everyone calls him the Ghost King because no one knows how he rose to power, and those who try to investigate disappear. Damien takes Lydia's trembling hand. The priest asks, "Do you take this woman?" Damien answers before the priest finishes, "I do." Lydia is stunned. She protests, screams, tries to run, but the guards hold her still. Damien leans close, voice dangerously calm. "Say the words, Lydia." I don't." He
falls. She remembers running. Just as Evelyn begins cooperating with investigators, a mysterious fire erupts in the hospital's east wing. Security footage shows masked intruders cutting the power. Their target, Evelyn, with alarms blaring. The sheriff grabs her hand and escapes through a back stairwell. But they're too late. The Arden family's private strike team has surrounded the building. Cornered, Evelyn suddenly remembers why she vanished in the first place. She wasn't kidnapped, she was the experiment. And the secret locked in her DNA is worth more than any life on Earth. In a maximum security prison buried deep in the desert, a single inmate sits in total silence. No visitors, no calls, no contact with the outside world. And yet, every week, he sends anonymous letters predicting violent crimes before they happen. Every detail, every name, every timestamp always correct. His name is Dr. Adrian Wolfe, once the world's most brilliant behavioral scientist, now serving a life sentence for the murder of his own research team. The authorities call him a monster, the media calls him a prophet. But today, for the first time in 13 years, the prison warden unlocks his cell door because the latest letter predicts something far worse, the downfall of the entire country. According to his message, within 72 hours a catastrophic event will strike the capital, orchestrated by a clandestine group known as the Phantom Circuit. Wolfe claims he knows their methods because he was one of the founders before he was betrayed and locked away.